So now let's move to the next thing, like understanding the complaint. What are the complaints are all about, source of the complaints, benefit of handling complaints, and danger of handling complaints. So in upcoming slide, we'll see in much more detail, like from where the complaints are generated, and like why it is important for us. So as I mentioned earlier also, why this is important to you is to improve the you can say your processes in the system, to improve the product quality, to improve the service quality. So there are a lot of benefits behind resolving these complaints. Sometimes we feel like, okay, this particular area, in this particular area complaints are coming, so by that you will able to identify in your business value chain that particular area is weak, wherein because of your like as I'm given an example of product, best product, but services are poor. So in that case, the only because of that services, your product is not getting you can say that response which is supposed to be get, because of the standardization, because of the good value of that particular product. So you have to identify which particular segment or which particular domain is weak in your overall business value chain. Okay. Then there are dangers also handling complaints. Sometimes we have for behind the complaints you have to spend money, so you have to your organizations, like that is one of the very you can, in your case, this is something which is right now happening. Like management is thinking that, okay, wasting time on solving these complaints is like wasting of money, wasting of resources, like hours, your resource hours. Okay, now they are not that much serious. So that is something. Sometimes you being a head of this particular, there are a lot of, suppose there are 1,000 complaints, so you have to segregate that these are the complaints which will, if you are putting efforts on that particular complaint, it will definitely hamper your organization's time, resource, or you can say a cost impact will also be there. But now there are other aspects, like you have to identify these things and you have to segregate and either you pass it to third party or any other or if it is not required even to be solved, you can pass it. But you have to understand that the other thing is important, the other balanced one is important, and that message you have to pass. If sometimes like in a uh, 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 usually what happens, we have a lot of, and we forget to do this segregation and we focus on each and every complaint, then the disengagement will start coming. So that disengagement should not come from the management or from the stakeholders. So for that, you have to perform a proper segregation. Okay. I think message is clear from this slide.
Yes.
So in between, anything you want to give from the your part, like the best thing is I can understand there is particular problem statement which you are looking for. So you can come up with the problem statement which you are facing in your organization. We can also discuss about how the other organizations are dealing with that particular problem. What are the management approach? There are two approaches. One is the management approach and one is the technical approach. So it is very important to understand how managerially you can resolve those problems, and where we have to you can say come up with the technical solutions. Okay, so I can help you out with the management solutions. Technical solutions you are anyhow expert in.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's discuss why we have to handle complaints. So there is a greater focus on how complaints are handled by organization. The focus changes from being product driven to being customer driven. The business environment has become more competitive nowadays. Services has become the main, you can say, differentiating factor. So as I mentioned earlier, during this particular, you can say, approach, you have to see what exactly is your from your business. So now this is applicable to each and every business value chain. Okay, whether it is a manufacturing industry, whether it is a construction industry. So earlier it was a product driven market. Earlier it was only like if you have built a good product, after that even your product is best, even your services or any other you can say sales are not are weak, but still you are you can say you are having a good presence in your in that particular market. But nowadays the focus has shifted from product to customer, and the reason is the market has become competitive. There are a lot of products, like you can get A, B, C category. Like suppose a person is organization is making a category, but very near to it B category product will be there. So now a person will see, okay, B category product is giving me this much services along with that, so that is more beneficial for me, or that is more comfortable I am with. So this is where you have to understand why it is not only a product which is earlier driving the organization. Now it is your customers who are driving the organization. Now it is the services which you are providing to the customer is driving the organization's benefit, or you can say objective, ultimate objective. Okay. So we should not only focus on the product, we have to focus on customer. And customer, how to focus on customer? Through the services. And these services are nothing but in terms of the product which you are delivering, the deliveries, the feedback also you have to take. So each and every step is important. Not only just delivering the product, also getting the feedback is very important, so that you can improve your organization's you can say product quality. Okay, now let's move to the next thing. Like we have understood what complaints are all about. Now let's understand uh, the source of the complaint. So now there are internal customers and external customers. So you have to understand from your organization part of you can say organizations, or your manufacturing systems, or your firms. You can say customer base, that who all are your internal customers, who all are your external customers, and by that you have to segregate and ultimately handle those things. Okay, so before going to the upcoming slides, uh, just want to understand, like if you want to different if you want to categorize customer in internal or external, like in your organization, so are you able to come up with some you can say type of customers? These are the internal one, these are the external one. Just before going ahead with this, after this slide you will understand like what exactly is internal and external customers.
So internally would be anything with the manufacturing or supply chain. I consider the contract manufacturers as internal because they're creating product on our behalf. So I would categorize the contract manufacturing and internal manufacturing. Any inputs to a customer driven product would be an internal customer. And then external customers, anyone outside of the business that would have that are using our products.
Correct. So from the theoretical definition, absolutely, you are absolutely right that internal customers are the customers like who are on the floor, like your manufacturing team, and ultimately, if you are handling their complaints properly, you are automatically handling, or your impact should be automatically on the external customers. So always your first layer of you can say problem resolve or solving complaints is you have to internally solve the complaints first, and then to focus on the external customers. Now, once the internal customers are satisfied, the impact will come on the external customers, and ultimately your overall value chain will be created. In this case, in when we talk about internal and external customers, so complaints like methodology to handling these complaints may differ for internal and as well as for external. So here, when you are when you are about to prepare a processes for complaint handling in your organization, so once here you can take one lesson wherein you can segregate this particular process for internal customers, like your organization related stakeholders who are directly or indirectly related to it. Sometimes, like in manufacturing, you are you have small suppliers also. So complaints from those small suppliers are considered as the internal customers. Then there is the output of that particular you can say manufacturing unit is a product and which is getting delivered to a consumer. Now that consumer is nothing but your external customer. So I have given you an example of internal and external customer. Now you have to think for both the you can say customers, the system of handling complaints should be different. Or you have to define, when you are defining processes, you have to define a process in a particular manner. Like one of the thing is like format in which that customer has to complain. So for internal customer, the format should be different, and for external customer, the format or feedback mechanism should be different. So this is something which you can standardize in when you are preparing the processes. So I
Okay.
think you
So
can
we
relate
have
it with the yeah.
there are two different value streams, I guess you can say, from a perspective of internal versus external. So external are handled through a CRM system, which is not tied to any of our production it's a totally separate system for customer complaints. And
Correct.
the mechanism for internal is we have our NCR, non-conforming material request form, and that details, what the problem was, but that's more of a manufacturing problem and accepting a product of use as is or dispositioned, but it doesn't necessarily link to the customer. There's a disconnect in my mind trying to get the culture at the site to understand, yes, the NCR is important, however, we need to fix what's broken on either the
Absolutely. So
router
what
or any
you are
other
talking about the
things.
NCRs related to the quality of a particular this thing. Now that NCRs are being raised by whom? These NCRs are being raised by uh, your organizations, multiple different departments to for particular you can say defect in the products, or you can say product when product is in a life cycle stage. There are stages. So in particular stage there is particular defect, and which you are identifying through NCR. That is absolutely right. Okay, that is your quality standards. That is not coming under your you can say complaint related to this. That is your quality standards, for which for that quality standards you are having a process of NCRs, and that is your internal company your organization's process. Now when it comes to internal customers, so beyond NCR, like beyond this, like suppose you have to deliver a product, and to make that product there are multiple suppliers, small suppliers. Now if there are certain complaints of those suppliers, now NCRs is for like those suppliers are not giving a right quality of product, right? That is your, because of which your quality of your end product is impacting. So that is your, as an organization you are raising NCRs to for that you can say work. Now sometimes what happen, those small suppliers are having certain issues also from the particular like integration related. So that sometimes what happen, a particular product is good is which is supplying is not getting integrated with the other suppliers material and ultimately your end product. So reverse complaints are can also be there. So you have to see complaints from the supplier side can also be considered in a different manner. So that's why I'm saying that complaints, managing customer related complaints or your end complaints from the external customers, and managing your internal customers should have a different approach. So NCRs could be one of the part of it, but NCRs again is a very related to only to the quality. Now as you earlier mentioned that apart from quality also you are looking to for the improvement, so that is something wherein you can collate everything and ultimately by that you can deliver whenever, because you are preparing, you want to prepare a processes for an organization. So that is not only from the quality point of view, it is also from the other aspects also, so you can cover this particular part as well.
Okay.
Okay.